Standing Simmer here today, coming in for another house building video in The Sims 4. So we are building another installment of my limited packs build series, or my base game plus build series. And I woke up this morning and I was thinking, what do I want to build for this build series? Because to date, there are only 2 other builds in this series that I put out on the channel so far. One was a family home, and one was I just built it last week. It was more of a townhouse style, like an industrial style townhouse that was made for a gardener. So I was thinking, okay, so those are some interesting styles, those are things that I like to build, for the most part, at least when I'm in the mood. And I was thinking, so what do I want to build today for this week's build? And for some reason, Rustic was really speaking to me. Like, I was thinking, oh, so what are some of the packs I've kind of been wanting to delve into again here recently? And of course, when I was thinking Rustic, the first thing that jumped to mind was, the Laundry Day stuff pack, of course. One of our more recent stuff packs, and it just came with so much nice stuff for like rustic, outdoorsy, all that kind of good stuff. So when I was thinking about, what packs I wanted to pair with that to really kind of complement my base game plus theme, I was kind of leaning at first toward cats and dogs because, as we all know, the Sims team here recently has been pretty good about making packs that have items that are similar in content but aren't identical in content. So the items that are in the packs complement each other really well. And of course, Laundry Day and Cats and Dogs are pretty good examples of that. But guys, Cats and Dogs is not one of the packs that we're using today. I actually called to mind the Outdoor Retreat game pack, which I have not used intentionally in the longest time. Like, as far as gameplay goes, I occasionally will take my Sim families over to, what's the name of the world? Oh my goodness sakes. I will take them, Granite Falls. Oh man. Okay, well, I will take them on vacation to Granite Falls every once in a while, but especially now since Selva Dorada is available with the Jungle Adventure game pack. Of course, when I think about taking my Sims on vacation for the weekend, I kind of want to go there for the most part. So I have not visited Granite Falls in a long time, and there are a couple of items kind of strewn throughout the Outdoor Retreat game pack that I do use on a semi-regular basis. Like, there are a couple of items that I just forget, at least I forgot until I did this build, that were actually a part of that pack that I like quite a lot. But then for the most part, a lot of the items just kind of go unnoticed by me. And of course, as I have mentioned in the other builds up to this point in this series, the whole point of the series is for me to not only challenge myself by building more houses and building different types of houses and challenging myself in that sense, but I also, one of my goals is to use a lot of the items in these packs that we've had, some of them for a long time, and use these items in ways that I really haven't, at least maybe ever, or at least haven't in a while. So as we all know, Outdoor Retreat was the first game pack, I believe, which I wasn't even playing The Sims back when Outdoor Retreat came out. I only got it like just a few months ago now, probably, because I was really, liking the idea of a vacation world. And then of course Jungle Adventure came out, and now I have that pack too. But yeah, I definitely was not playing The Sims back when Outdoor Retreat came out. So I just kind of got it over time because I would like my complexion. I would like my complexion to be complete too, but my collection, I would like my collection to be complete over time as the Sims games grow and grow. But yeah, I definitely was not playing The Sims back when it first came out. In fact, I don't know about you guys, you'll have to let me know in the comments how long you've been playing The Sims, because sometimes I feel like kind of like a fake Sims fan because I've only been playing the game for like, I want to say it's been a couple of years. I actually started with The Sims 3, but that was only a few years ago, and The Sims 4 was already out at that point. Don't ask me why I bought The Sims 3 and a couple of expansions and then later bought The Sims 4 when The Sims 4 was already available. I want to say that at the time when I decided I wanted to buy a Sims game, I kind of did some research and read some stuff by some people that were like, oh, the Sims 3 game is so much better than The Sims 4, and oh, you should just not waste your money on The Sims 4. And I was like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I mean, typically, sometimes when you put out a new game entirely, it can be better than ones that come before it. But, it's not it's not out of the stretch of the imagination to think that an older game in the series would be better necessarily. So I was like, okay, yeah, well, I'll get The Sims 3. And so I did, and then I got a couple of expansions because of course, you want to put more content in the game. And then it wasn't maybe a year or so later that I actually started really getting into watching Sims YouTubers. And of course, at that time, I was seeing a lot of Sims 4 gameplay and thinking, this looks really, really good. Like, I think the very first Sims YouTuber I ever watched was Deligracy. And I started watching, of course, her builds, because she's an amazing builder, but a lot of her Let's Plays as well. And through that got an idea for some of the content that was available in the game. And I was like, I don't know whose opinion I decided to listen to at the beginning, but they're crazy because, I mean, no shade to you if you honestly really like The Sims 3, but you are watching a Sims 4 building video, so I can assume you're possibly at least like The Sims 4 a little bit. Either that or you just really, really like me, which, I'm not sure what you're doing with your life, but anyways, yeah, so I really like The Sims 3, and it's a good game, and I actually still go back to it, pretty often. I crave my throwback to The Sims 3 every once in a while, but I've only been playing The Sims 4 for, it's been like a year and a half, 2 years maybe at the most, and it is really an amazing game. So yeah, ever since I started playing, I've been adding to my collection, and I added a decent bit to my collection relatively quickly. And so for that reason, that's kind of what spawned the idea for me to do this series in the first place, because, there were a lot of items that I saw in other people's builds that in some cases I bought the packs almost exclusively for those items that I knew were in them, again, from having seen other people build with them. So I have done a lot of exploration in the gameplay aspect, because I do a lot of gameplay, but for the most part I just use my set number of items, and that's kind of what I do when it comes to this game. So yeah, it's been kind of fun so far, challenging myself in the 3 builds, all of the 3 builds that I've done in this series so far. But I have a lot of ideas still, and I'm excited to see kind of where we go from here as far as like pack combinations and different styles of builds and things like that too. Which, guys, seriously, if you have any ideas for any future builds for this series, or for anything, honestly, if you give me an idea, I might incorporate it in either like just a general building video later on, or in a limited packs building video. But if you have ideas for like, certain packs that you'd like to see put together, or different building styles that you think go well with certain packs, then please let me know, because I keep a notebook, right? I tend to be a pretty fairly organized, pretty type A type person. And so I keep a notebook of like all these building ideas. And so if you leave me a suggestion, but you better believe your suggestion's going in my building notebook. It might not happen next week or anything crazy, but I'm gonna put it in my notebook. So just let me know if there's something specific you would like to see. And we'll see what we can do. So with my whole ramble about my past in the Sims games that you may or may not have cared about, we have managed to furnish the vast majority of the house, and we finished pretty much the outside as well. Now, one thing that you have probably noticed about my building style, if you've watched any of my videos so far, is that I tend to be pretty, like I jump around a lot when I'm building, and it might drive some of you crazy. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm really, really sorry if it does. But I tend to leave things unfinished that in kind of strange orders. Like, it doesn't seem like there would be a rhyme or reason to the order in which I do some things, possibly. Because this is something I never really realized about myself until I had to speed up and edit videos of builds that I had done. But I just I left the entire outside of the house without siding on it. I built the structure of the house, put in all the windows, did the roofing, all that kind of stuff, and then didn't put any siding on because I was so excited to move to the interior that I just kind of left that part till closer to the end. So yeah, currently there's no siding on the house, but there will be, never fear. If there's something like that you see that you're like, well, Mariah just totally missed that. It's possible that there was actually a set decision that went into me missing that and moving on to later. Hopefully I go back to whatever it is that I have skipped over initially. So that's the hope anyways. At least I think I'm decent about that most of the time, but yeah. So yes, like I said, we've pretty well finished the entire house. That tiny little bathroom that we're working on putting the lighting in right now is of course just the shower and the toilet. I know it looks kind of weird, but I figured that your Sims could very easily walk across the room and just wash their hands in the sink in the kitchen. And when I was actually player testing this house, that's exactly what my Sim did, no problem. Speaking of player testing, everything in this house that's important at least has been player tested. Your Sims can actually sit on all 4 chairs surrounding the dining table. I've tested it. They can cook in the kitchen and move around, no problem. They can get into the shower and the toilet in the bathroom. And 2 Sims can sleep in the bed that's over there in the bedroom area. So yeah, there really shouldn't be anything too much about this house, even though the actual layout in the interior is kind of weird. There's nothing in there that's really so blocked off that you couldn't use it. So yeah, no worries guys, I got you. I think I mentioned this in one of my last speed builds, but because I move Sims in to like take the screenshots and things, I usually just player test it because there's no reason why not. If I've got the extra time, then I just try to do it, and you know, that way I can sit here and tell you in the video, hey guys, yeah, I went that extra mile and I just went ahead and player tested the questionable things. Now, I can't guarantee that that will happen if I would do like a really massive build or something like that, but you know, we haven't really gotten there just yet. So as you can see, we have actually just moved lots. I started building this house on a 20 by 30, I think. And then when it came time to do the landscaping, I was like, oh my gosh, this backyard is massive. And I didn't want to furnish the whole thing. And I knew that it would fit and look more natural on a smaller lot. So then I moved it to a 20 by 15, I believe. So start on a 20 by 30 and move to a 20 by 15, and that's where it stays from then on. I actually just moved it across the road. So if you see a house across the road that looks like identical to this one, it's because it is identical, just minus like the landscaping in the backyard area, because the house, the initial house is sitting across the road right now as we speak. Just putting in the landscaping and such here. Now, I tried something different with this, the editing of this video that you would have noticed at the beginning. You'll have to let me know what you think of it. I did a little bit of a more like an active intro rather than just putting in my own intro, because I don't know. I like my intro, like I made it. I know it's not the best as far as like like looks and aesthetic goes, but I did make it. You know, I figured out how to use my editing program to make an intro, but it's the way that I've started all of my videos, period, since I made it. And I don't know, I just feel like every once in a while it's nice to just shake it up a bit. So I tried a new intro with this video, and I really like the way it turns out. I think it's kind of cute. I enjoyed putting the Sims in here to film that intro as well. That was kind of fun. Now, here in the backyard, I start off by just putting out, I went through the whole catalog for these packs, and I just start putting out items that I'm like, I'm not sure how I missed these, but I did. And so like the sink that I replaced in the kitchen over there, and like the laundry stuff, because duh, this is a build using laundry day. I wasn't even considering, thank goodness this is a rustic home, because you know, the laundry stuff would go outdoors anyway. But I didn't even think about the laundry stuff when I was furnishing this home. Yeah, no, nothing like that was entering my mind for some reason. But I took time when I was getting ready to do the landscaping in the backyard to like lay out a bunch of stuff that I wanted to fit in, because I didn't really want to miss anything, because I don't know, I feel like even though this is a limited packs build and the goal is to challenge myself, there's still a way I could just go for only the items I'm familiar with and used to using in those packs, and skip over some of the things that I, you know, would want to really put in a limited packs build. So I did manage to go back and put a few more of those things in, so shouldn't have an issue there. I did skip over me doing the majority of the landscaping in the backyard. I left in all the landscaping for the front, and then some of the landscaping for the backyard, but it's all pretty repetitive. Long story short, those low-lying, I think the actual name in the catalog is low-lying pale yellow flower, or just yellow flower, something like that. Those are a lifesaver when it comes to lazy landscaping, because I know I'm not the only simmer who uses them, but you know what? Either in the size that they are when they come out of the catalog or sized up, those babies, they just cover the ground wherever you put them, and it makes it look like you really tried. And especially in a rustic build like this one, where the landscaping isn't necessarily meant to be perfect anyway, it just really makes it look pretty nice. It makes it look like everything fits together well. So there is a lot of that going around. I was also kind of excited to use these little lavender hedges that we're using. Lavender is one of my favorite herbs. Like, I grow lavender in my backyard nearly every year. I'm actually really excited to go get my seedlings again this year. I haven't planted yet because where I am, like, we're only just kind of coming into like acceptable planting weather. I'm probably gonna wait a couple more weeks before I actually put anything in the ground. But lavender is such a beautiful herb, and it smells so good. And oh, yes, I just love it so much. So lavender, I got the chance to use it today in the Sims, in the landscaping here. So that kind of made me happy and made me excited for the little bit of gardening that I'll hopefully be doing here pretty soon. I'm not too much of a gardener, but I like to squeeze in, you know, at least a little bit of one in my yard when I can. And of course, we're already onto the screenshots because I've been rambling like crazy, you know, this whole time. I really hope you guys enjoyed this build. I know that I had a really good time building it. It took me longer than usual, longer than it probably should, but I think it turned out okay when it's all said and done. So this is available on the gallery. Of course, I forgot to say that before, but it's under the my user Standing Simmer, or the hashtag Standing Simmer, as the tiny rustic home. And yeah, you guys can check it out on there if you'd like. Well, thank you again, guys, so much for watching today. I really appreciate it, and I hope you're having the best of days, and I will speak to you very soon. Bye.